Hi guys, this is a question that I'm answering. It's a question that I received from one of the students, and it actually changes in accounting estimate, which is part of IS 8. I'm not going to go deep on the concept explaining all the theory of this topic. I'm just doing this question, just answering to the question that the friend sent. And what I did, just to make a bit, to make the question even more, a bit just complex, I just create two scenarios, scenario 1 and scenario 2. So let's quickly go in the question. We have this company, which on 1st of January 2019, the company purchased a machine at a total cost of 400,000. And then on that day, these are the estimate that the management decided upon. The residual value of the asset, 50,000. The useful life, 7 years. And the company used a straight line method. Okay, now what is scenario 1? It says during 2021. I'm insisting on the during 2021. Why am I saying like that? Because sometimes the estimate can change. Management can review the estimate either during the year, at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year. So all those three scenarios can have an impact on how you calculate depreciation. In this case, they did not give us much details. They just say that during 2021, the company revised the useful life of the asset from 7 years to 5 years. Okay, and they did not have any impairment of this asset. So this is the first scenario. So the first scenario, the initial useful life of the asset moved from 7 years to 5 years. What does scenario 2 say? Scenario 2 says the same period, which is during 2021. Now, what changed is the residual value and the useful life. If you go back to scenario number 1, we move from 7 years to 5 years. So the years decrease. But if you go to scenario number 2, we move from 7 years to 10 years. And the residual value also changed from 50,000 to 55,000. If you remember, scenario 1, there were no change in residual value. So just be careful when you read and try to understand those small basics. Okay, so let me share the memo, and then we're going to go through the memo and we're going to try to see how you can do a question like this. Okay, so let me stop sharing this and I'll share the memo. Okay. Okay, then I'm sharing the memo. I hope you guys can see the memo. Okay, now what do we know about this question or this specific company? At 1st January 2019, I'm sorry, it should be 9, not 18, 20, based on the question is 29. 29, we purchased a machinery at the cost of 400,000, residual value 50, as well as 7-year, which is useful life. Okay, and the company used a straight line method. So let's go to scenario 1. Okay, what happened in scenario 1? If you remember, there's been a change in what? In the useful life of the asset. From 7 years, it went down to 5 years. Okay, when is that happened? It happened during 2021. We're not yet done with the financial of 2021. So during 2021, those changes happened. So we need to go back to ask ourselves, from that period, how many years have been already incurred? If you check 2019 and 2020, which make 2 years, so 2 years has collapsed. We left with how many years? Normally, we left with 5 years from the beginning of 2021. But what is the new estimate? The new estimate says, no, the initial estimate was not supposed to be 7, it's supposed to be 5. Okay. Now, how many years have we used so far? We so far used 2 years. So how many years gonna remain based on the new estimate? 3 years. Guys, I hope you guys understand the logic here. It's just a small logic that you need to understand. Okay, so let's try to get what is the carrying amount of this asset at the beginning of financial year 2021. Remember, we had a cost of 400,000 minus the accumulated depreciation, multiplied by 2 years, divided by 7, it should give us 100,000. And this is the accumulated depreciation. Therefore, our carrying amount at the beginning of fiscal year or financial year 2021, it should be 300,000. Okay, so let us now calculate depreciation of 2021. Obvious, we're going to take the 300,000, which is the carrying amount at the beginning of the period, minus the residual value, which is 50,000. It's going to give us 250, which is the depreciable amount. Good. Now remember, there's been a change. Okay, we moved from 7 years to 5 years, and the remaining period equal to how many? We did calculation a bit on top, those 3 years. So we're going to divide by the remaining period. And if you take the 250 multiplied by 1, which is 1, this current period, divide by 3, which is the remaining period, it should give you 83,333. Okay, let's try to verify quickly to make sure that we did not do any mistake. Let's go to our calculation. Remember, what was the initial cost of this asset? It was 400,000. And what was the residual value? The residual value was 50,000. Assuming that the accumulation, the depreciation and the current depreciation, as well as the future depreciation combined, should give us an amount that if we deduct that amount into the initial cost, we should left with the residual value. So let's try to see. In first year and second year, if you remember, we added total accumulated depreciation of 100,000, which was 50,000 in year 1 and 50,000 in year 2. From year 3, going forward, we start having depreciation of 83,333. You see the calculation there and you can follow. So if you combine all this amount, it's going to give you a total of 350. If you take the 350, you less it in the 400, obviously you get the 50,000, which is your residual value. I hope you guys understand this first scenario. Let's go to scenario number 2. Scenario number 2 has been a change in useful life as well as in residual value. The useful life was 7 years, but now it went to 10 years, and the residual value was 50,000, but now is 55,000. So we can do the same logic. 7 years, how many years has collapsed so far? 2 years, we left with 5 years. So if we use now the new estimate, good. The new estimate goes to 10 years. So at the beginning, we start with 10 years, assuming that we were supposed to have 10 years. How many years collapsed so far? 2 years. How many years remain? 8 years. With a new residual value of 55,000. So let's try to get what is the carrying amount at the beginning of this financial period. We did the same in the first scenario. It was 400 minus 100,000. We all know where the 100,000 come. This is the accumulated depreciation of year 1 and year 2, which leaves us with a carrying amount of 300,000 at the beginning of 2021. Now, let's calculate depreciation of 2021. So how are we going to calculate depreciation of 2021? We're going to calculate using the 300, which is the carrying amount, minus the new residual value. Remember, new residual value equal to 55,000, which is going to give us a depreciable amount of 245. Good. Then, to calculate the depreciation of this current year, we multiply by 1, divide by 8. Why are we using 8? Because 8, this is our remaining useful life. So remaining useful life will give us 30,625. Let's go quickly to a verification to make sure that everything was done properly. Again, year 1 and year 2, we add a total accumulated depreciation of 100,000. Year 3 up to year 10, this should be 10. Up to year 10, it's going to give us a total accumulated of 245. You can do that calculation. You can either take 30,625 multiplied by 8, which is the remaining years, or you can take 300,000 minus 55,000 multiplied by 8 over 8. It should give you still the 245. And if you take 245 plus 100,000, it's going to give you 345. 345, if you less it in 400, it should give you 55,000. So basically, this is how you deal with a situation where there's been a change in estimate. Again, if you want to learn more about this topic, you can just put a question. I can organize myself and make a video where I can explain the concept behind changing estimate. You can also do changing accounting policy or ERA. If really you guys want, I can go to do that again. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like, please give a thumb, and don't forget to subscribe so that each and every time there's a new video, you're going to be the first one to be informed. And again, I want to ask you to, if you have any question while you're doing this accounting and you did not understand the concept, don't feel shy, just put a comment there and I'll try to make sure that I'll attend to it. Once again, thank you very much for watching this video.